Why am I always driving when I'm doing live streams? It's going to take a few seconds for everyone to get on. How are we all doing? Oh, where am I going? I need to go straight on. Any crack? How are we doing? I don't even know where I am at the minute. Trying to get back home. Bought some new stuff for my 2 new channels. Yes, Simon, always driving. Always seem to be driving, doing live streams. Can I go yet? Come on, traffic lights. Brian, SMA Autos, how we doing? I'm on the wrong side. No, we're on the proper side. On the proper side. Oh, come on, how long are these lights going to stay red for? Liam, how we doing? Bodge, how we doing? Oh, that's the old cops. Can I go? I can go, yeah. Kind of want them to turn around and pull me over when I'm live streaming. They're kind of funny, I think. What are you doing? I'm doing nothing. What's the problem, officer? Or what's the officer problem? Am I going the right way? I'm going the right way. That's all that matters. So how are we all doing? And what are we doing, more to the point? Are we working? Or are we in bed where I should be? If I miss your questions, I do apologise. It is awkward to drive and see, because the messages only flash up for a few seconds. It's bloody annoying. Mike, how we doing, mate? You still? I still need to message you. I've got a few things I need to send you. I keep saying it, but I've got them already. Kind of got them all. I'm waiting for one more thing. What is the time where we all are? It's always interesting to see. What is the time in Ireland? I can't see because the clock on the radio is wrong. Just staying in bed, I'm not in bed yet. Yes, well, I should be about an hour and a half's time. I think it's going to take me to get home. About 10:25. I think that's what it is where we are. I think that must be the same time as you, Leon. Yeah, but I don't know what the time is here, mate, because I can't see. I think it's around 10:30, isn't it? I was having this conversation with someone the other day, and it's weird because in Ireland and England, if we say 10:30, it means 10:30, right? So 30 minutes past 10. But depending on where you are in the world, like in Germany and the Netherlands and a few other places in Europe, if you say 10:30, it means 9:30, because 10:30 is half to 10. It's like, no, it's not 10:30, it's 9:30. So where you are in the world, if someone says to you 10:30, what does it mean? Because it should mean 10:30, but in some parts of the world it doesn't. I think in France it does. In Germany it doesn't. In Holland it doesn't. I'm not sure. There must be other countries in the world where it's all wrong. And I know maybe even you're in America, you say 10:30, people don't know what you mean because they say 10:30. I don't think they say 10:30 or 11:15. I said that to some people in Europe before and they didn't have a clue what I was talking about. What do you mean 11:15? Even some Americans I've been speaking didn't know what I was talking about. I just assumed everyone did. It must be a English and Irish thing. 5:25, I'm working my holidays. Oh yeah, problem working for yourself, isn't it, mate? Never a day off when you're working for yourself, unfortunately. 1700 here or about there. Yeah, I suppose if we use the 24-hour clock, you can't get confused. Even though some people do. Lots of freedom working for yourself, though you never get. Yeah, I'd never go back either, but it's also a lot of hassle because you have to deal with everyone. When you work with someone, whatever time you knock off, that's it, you've gone. You're going home, you can forget about everything. I get phone calls at 10, 11 o'clock, especially now we're doing the recovery and stuff. You know, I get phone calls even later than that, but yeah, it's just, you know, it's always, where can I contact you? Like, hold on, this is the problem with the phone. Where can I contact you? Like email, so I can talk. We're back. That's the problem with going live when you're driving. What was the question? Something about an email. Is the question still there? Yeah, you can also get me on Instagram. All my videos down below. What have I missed? Come on, give me the questions back. Fucking stupid phone, I can't see the messages. Stupid phone, I can't see the messages. Oh, there's a railway track coming up. Sludden! Oh, there's a railway track coming up. Sludden! Good evening, mate. Hope you are. Yeah. How's things, Paul? Who else we got? Oh yeah, I forgot about Instagram. God, why can't he just keep the messages on the side of the old dog and bone so I could see and I don't have to keep pressing the button? It'd be so much easier. Come on, give me it back. It means 10:30. It's 5:28 and 10:30 means 5. Yeah, when I first heard it, I think I was speaking to it was, they were actually German, and I said 10:30 and they turned up at 9:30. I said no, it's 10:30. I was like, no, it's 9:30. So then they explained to me in Germany what 9:30 means, and I was like, wow, like how is 10:30 meaning 10:30, 10:30, 10:30? That's what they said it means. I'm like, what? No. I understand it, I can get it, like 10:30, but I'm not saying 10:30 because that's what they are saying. They're saying 10:30. I'm not saying that. I'm saying 10:30 or 11:30, not 2:30. If I said 2:30, then okay, maybe, but I'm not saying 2:30. I'm saying 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 12:15, 12:15. Yeah, quite funny, really. Quite funny. 10:30. Yes. What are you driving? I'm driving a tranny van. Good old tranny. Mike, thank you. You're gonna have to stop doing that. You'll have to go live and I have to give you all your super chats back. Now, which way am I going? Which way am I going? Which way am I going? I didn't look at the signposts. Join me on a live stream, Getting Lost. Straight on, I think. Or if I get caught by a fucking traffic light again. Nope, I'm okay. Fucking traffic lights. YouTube are changing their terms and conditions. You are not allowed to fucking swear anymore, which is fucking stupid. If you keep fucking swearing, you get fucking demonetized. And I think that's fucking wrong. What do you think? Too much? Swearing is a part of fixing cars. It is impossible, and I don't care what anyone fucking says, it's fucking impossible to fix a fucking car without fucking swearing. You have to swear, and you have to throw tools. That's what you have to do. If you don't fucking swear and throw fucking tools, you can't fix fucking cars. So fuck you, YouTube, and your stupid fucking rules. Now, which way am I going? Which way am I going? Which way am I? Oh, I think I know where I am now. What's the roadworks? Why we got fucking roadworks? I can go, thank you, mate, but can I go? Oh, bollocks! Can I go down there? Oh, fuck! What are you doing with the traffic lights? All right, mate. How's it going? I don't know him at all. I just bibbed and put my hand up. Oh, have you ever done that? You bib at someone, right? And put your hand up. They all put their hand up. It's brilliant. And then you drive past them and they say, who the fuck was that? I don't know who that was. And then they're thinking it's someone they know. And they're like, who the fuck was that? And I know he's thinking, who the fuck is that? I'm not going to see that, but he's thinking, who the fuck is that? And to me, that's just fucking brilliant. That's just brilliant. I'm swearing too much now. I don't think there's any the F word is absolutely necessary. I know, Helga, isn't it just? It must be, especially when you're living with who you're living with as well. So I understand that. That's Paddy. Now, hold on. Which way am I going? Which way am I going? Fuck. Oh, I got caught by traffic lights again, and there's a car up my arse, and I don't know which way to go. I'm going to fuck. Yeah, I'm gonna go this way. I think I've just gone the wrong way. But I think I haven't gone the wrong way, but I've just made my life a lot harder because now I have to go round the fucking asses. Round the asses! Well, it's a green light, mate. Why don't you go? Fucking, what you just stood there for? Why do people do that? Some of them and VAG clutches have to be compressed into the flywheels before they are tightened down. Yeah, have I missed something? I must have missed something. Have you worked on non-running? Have you ever worked on a non-run that you couldn't fix? Yes. Look, there is cars. Oh shit! This is all changed. What the fuck? Where's the roundabout gone? Why are they taking out roundabouts and putting fucking traffic lights in? Now I've gone the wrong shagging way. Balls! I've joined the motorway. Shit. Bollocks! Fucking stupid fucking traffic lights. No fucking roundabouts. Helga, thank you very much. Right, have I? Yes, I have. I have worked on cars that I haven't fixed, but actually not necessarily my fault. Look, I'm not saying I can fix everything because that's not true either, but the cars that I have fixed that I haven't actually been able to fix is more the fact that they don't want to spend the money. So I would say to them, look, you need such and such, and unfortunately, depending on the car, you know, the part that's gone could be worth more than the car, or they could have spent a fortune on the car already and they haven't been able to fix it. When they come to me, they've got no money. So you know, they don't want to fix it because they can't afford it, more so than I haven't figured out what the problem is. Because let's face it, with enough time and money, you'll fix anything. There's nothing that's unfixable. fixable. Now there's stuff that's not worth fixing, but that's not meaning it's unfixable. Unfixable, there's nothing that's unfixable. It's just whether it's worth it. Now I don't want to go on that part, so can I go down here? I'm missing some chat. Shit. Fuck. No, completely fucked up here now. Why? Oh no, have I? Hold on. That looks familiar. No, I haven't. Oh, I think I'm all right. I think I'm all right. Do BMWs have sensors for clutch? Some of them do. A lot of cars now have sensors for the clutch. Even when you put them in, you have to program the biting point in them, especially on Tiptronics and stuff like that. You know, a lot of the kind of the bigger, kind of more sportier motors. Oh, I think I'm all right. I think I'm all right. Am I all right? Oh, I'm all right. I'm all fucking right. But I still fucked up, but I'm now back to where I should be. Ooh, armed response. The police. The armed police. They're the people you don't want to piss off. I mean, you don't technically want to piss off any cop, but armed cops, you kind of don't want to piss them off at all. I can't get this fucking drink out when I... There we go. It's still hot. Oh, that's hot. This car is up my arse. Why do people fucking do that? Why do people drive so fucking close to you that, you know, if anything happens, they're like, he's practically in my back doors. Like, seriously, what's his fuck? I bet it's an Audi driver. I guarantee you it's a Volkswagen or Audi fucking driver. Guarantee it. What have I missed? Oh, I know all your cops are armed. I know, yeah. Only a few of I think they had Uzis, but yeah, I've just got a signal back. Yes, and what I recently found out, though, I say recently, like a couple of years ago, is the is all the detectives in Ireland carry guns, which I didn't know that. Every single detective in Ireland, plainclothes detective, carries a handgun, which I didn't know. I just thought it was the armed response, but no, every single detective does. I mean, I'm in a big city, or just coming out of a big city. How am I losing signal? The Paddy wants to be... I can't see, my phone's moving too much. Famous on everything. What have I missed? Should be all cops should be armed. I personally, I mean, armed response must be, yeah, it is like SWAT, but they're not like, I don't think they're, when you have to call SWAT in America, you know you're in trouble, because if the normal police with all their guns can't sort it out, you're in trouble. So the SWAT are like the elite, you know, like the special forces of the police force, from my understanding. And maybe I'm wrong. The armed response aren't really like that. I think they are more trained in guns and stuff, don't get me wrong, but they haven't got, like, you know, full-on vehicles, armored vehicles, and, you know, all sorts of stuff like that. They're not, the cars that they run aren't armored. I think they're slightly armored, but very slightly. So they're not like full-on, you know, SWAT, where when the SWAT's coming, you know you're in trouble. Like, for you to call the SWAT in America, I've seen the videos when SWAT comes, they don't fucking mess around. They just come mob-handed. As we would say in the UK, they're mob-handed. So the loads of them come, firepower coming out their arse, and yeah, it is like poetry. But there was a very famous case, wasn't there, that changed, that basically made SWAT become real, or not real, but changed it in America. There was a very famous, I think it was a bank robbery, and they the two people that did it completely covered themselves in armored plating. No one's ever seen this before. They got special armor plating, they covered themselves head to toe, and they had armor piercing rounds, they had everything. And the cops, even kind of like the special cops, I don't think there was SWAT at the time, or even if there was, they weren't prepared for it. They had no armor piercing bullets. At this stage in America, SWAT police couldn't penetrate this armor. They didn't have enough firepower, and these people were just putting out 4,000 to 15,000 rounds, I think they put out, and they were just mowing down everybody. And after that, it completely changed. The police were entitled to a lot higher caliber. The actual cops, get this is true, the cops that were there had to go into a gun store and get guns from a gun store, which higher caliber guns and higher powerful caliber rounds, because they didn't have powerful enough rounds. They had to literally, I don't think they broke into the gun store, but they barged in and they said, look, we need all your powerful rifles or shotguns, whatever. So they had to actually go to the local gun shop to get the guns to bring these guys down. And after that, the rules changed. They was allowed a lot better arms. I sent you a message on Instagram about the car. I'll have to have a look at it tomorrow, mate. So yeah, scary really. At least I'm on the right road now, which is one thing. Oh. So yeah, I'm starting 2 new channels. It's going to be interesting, and they're going to be at home, or not so much at home, but more set in like you know, not in the workshop. So I'm going to be doing like an electronics channel where I'm repairing, well, all sorts really. It doesn't really matter. It's going to be car ECUs, it's going to be clocks from cars, it's going to be TVs, PlayStations, anything basically. But I'm going to have all cameras overhead, and I'm going to have also, I've got stuff in the back of the van. That's why I'm driving the old tranny at the minute, because I've got stuff in the back of the van and I've been buying stuff for the last few months, and I'm close to setting it up now. So I'm going to be doing that, which is going to be really interesting. So, you know, fault finding on circuit boards and stuff like that. But even if it's not car related, so even if it's like a PS5 or something, it still will relate to a car ECU, because the fault finding methods on a circuit board, it doesn't matter what circuit board you're working on, whether it's a phone circuit board, whether it's a TV circuit board, or whether it's a car circuit board. The fault finding procedures is the same. SO15 in the UK is close to the SWAT. Oh, okay. See, I haven't been in the UK for so long, but I know the UK have a, you know, they might have one in Ireland, but I don't think they do. I don't think they have like an elite thing. I know they have armed response. They have armed response, but I don't think they have like one above. I think if they really need, because believe it or not, in Ireland, and you won't know this unless you've ever been to Ireland or live in Ireland, but when they empty the banks out, or when, you know, when the secure core vans come to the banks to give money or take away money, the army, that's the army. Now there is a police car there, you know, but the army come in their jeeps, and they come with guns. They've got in the full army gear, but their magazines are see-through, so you can see there's bullets in the magazines. And they stand. Now, to be fair, I haven't seen that in a long time, but that's what they used to do in Ireland. You'll never see. It wouldn't be the armed police doing it. It was the army. The army was always doing it. And I remember once, when I remember it, they had Nissan. What did they have? Nissan Jeeps. Nissan, was it Troopers they had? No, that's an Isuzu. Oh, what did they have? Anyway, it'll come to me in a second. They were the army had Nissan Jeeps, and what normally happened was you had an army Jeep in the front, then the cop car, then the secure van, and then an army Jeep at the back. That's the way it used to be. So they always used to keep a close, tight, packed, so no car could get in between them. And I was joining a road once, joining a main road, not a motorway, but a main road, and I saw that the second army Jeep was a long way away from the secure car van. So what I decided to do, thinking it would be funny, is pull out and get myself between the army and... Now, as you can imagine, that didn't go down too well. I didn't do anything wrong. They had a big gap. I was able to come into the traffic and accelerate before I affected the army behind me. But let's put it this way, the army accelerated like you wouldn't believe, because at the end of the day, I was in a van. It was actually a transit van. So for all they knew, there could have been 6 people in the back of that, ready to, get this secure car van, because I was behind the van. Now the army should not have had enough gap to allow me in the van, to allow me in between them and the van. They shouldn't have done that. The guy was obviously sleeping, so he must have got bollocked. But they came behind me, flashing like fuck, and I mean flashing like fuck. I didn't pull over because I did nothing wrong. I could see, I wasn't too close to the secure car van, but I could see it. I was maybe 3 or 4 lengths between me and the van, me and the money van. So I just stayed there. Then they passed and they looked in, and one of the guys just held up the gun as if to say, do you really want to try something? And I just let them pass. I wasn't going to do anything. I'm not fighting bloody with 16 army guys fucking loaded guns. It was only a bit of crack, but he didn't see it that way. He did not see the funny side of it, where I personally did, because it wasn't my fault. He should have kept a better thing, a tighter thing. So I was like, yeah, that was fucking hilarious. I want to hear more about the electronic channel. Yeah, well, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up to be like a live stream. So I'm going to be live streaming on Twitch, and I'll be live streaming on YouTube as well. But it's going to be, I'm going to do recorded videos, but I'm also going to do live streams where I get a board. It could be an ECU, it could be dash clocks, it could be a TV, it could be a games console. It doesn't really matter. It'd be something electrical, and I'm going to attempt to fix it either live or do a recording video on it. So I'll do it live, and I might break the video and then do make that live video a bit more compressed, because when you're watching it live, that's okay, but someone's not going to watch. If it takes 4 or 5 hours to fix a board, I can compress that video to maybe 30-40 minutes, if you was to do it in a compressed format. So that's what I'm going to do. But I'm going to have green screens, I'm going to have cameras facing down on the board, cameras facing me, stuff like that. I haven't got a microscope yet. I'm really looking for a microscope that I can plug into the computer via you know, like a, oh, what do you call it, fucking card, a camera card, so a capture card, so you can see, you know, the microscope. But I haven't got one of them yet, and they're quite expensive. I've been looking at them, and for a good one, which is what I really want, they're quite expensive, so I might have to leave that for a while, because I've just literally spent a fortune on a lot of things recently. And I kind of went OTT, so I've got Samsung Odyssey G9 50-inch curved monitor, and we're back. Fucking signal. I would like to see, come on, I would like to see opposite of magic smoke. Does he repair all electronic stuff and does a bit of car stuff on the side? I'd like the opposite of what magic. Does he phone keeps? He does all magic smoke. That must be a guy's YouTube channel, I take it, is it? Anyway, that's what I'm going to do. So it should be, I'll have to check this magic smoke guy out. I've never heard of him. So essentially that's what I'm going to do. ECU repairs. Well, what basically it's not going to be anything. It's not just going to be car stuff. It's not just going to be TV. It's going to be whatever I get in. So whether it's a TV, whether it's an ECU, whether it's whatever it happens to be, that's what I'm going to do. Whatever I happen to get in. I might even buy some electronical stuff to see if I can repair. Because the thing with electronic stuff is, I've done a little magic smoking one day. Torek, how's things? Yeah, the Great Watch. I can't even. Oh, Victor, how are we doing, mate? Yeah, it's like I say, it's just gonna be whatever I get in, and I might even buy a few stuff to repair. But the thing with electrical stuff is, it's more, there's a lot of failures with electrical stuff. There's a lot of stuff, no matter how good you are, you just cannot fix it. When you start dealing with multi-layered boards and you've got shorts within them layers, look, it's just not fixable. And you'll find, turn your fucking lights off, you dickhead. Turn your, yeah, that's it, muppet. Fuck off, dickheads. Prick. Anyway, the more, and with electrical stuff, there's some chips that are very expensive and it's not worth repairing. Like, if you can, let's say a radio, like I know a lot of the Ford radios, the CD6000s, the CD6000s, there's a chip in them that goes, and I think the chip's like 40 odd quid to buy. That's just to buy it, but you can buy like a second-hand one for 20 quid. So you're not going to repair that because someone's not going to give you the money it costs for the chip and your time to repair it. So you just throw it away, unfortunately, because it's not worth repairing. And with boards, there's a lot of that. So look, there's going to be boards that I can't fix because of a couple of things. One, because it's just not worth repairing. Two, my skill level, like I'm not good enough to repair it, you know. But hey, we can all learn. I see you learned your so yeah, look, it's just it is what it is. It's just one of them things. But I think, you know, especially with circuit board diagnostics, doesn't matter what board you're working on, transfers over. Just like when I'm working on a car and I'm showing something on a car, just because it happens to be, you know, a Ford Mondeo, them little tips and tricks in that video will transfer to other cars, not just a Ford Mondeo. Same with, you know, circuit boards. So, but I've actually got three cars last week. 3 cars with dodgy ECUs last week, all within 1 week. 3 ECUs, all gone. But what we've done with that is, because we couldn't wait, I haven't got all my stuff set up properly, so I couldn't repair them. So what we've done is, because the ECUs are really cheap, we've just gone the ECUs and we reprogrammed them. But I've kept the ECUs, so I'm going to repair them ECUs. I'm going to repair them ECUs anyway, just to show people, but they're not going to go back in the car. Well, they might go in another car, but I'm just going to repair them because I've got them, and it will make, you know, good content just to show you. And it's water damage on all of them. Now again, the thing with water damage is, look, I'm not saying I can repair it. Water damage is a nightmare because it gets under a lot of IC chips, and you know, if the BGA chips, depending on what the BGA chips are, you know, to reball them, to do all that is not worth it. So, you know, they might not be fixable, but even if they're not fixable, it's going to be interesting to take them chips out and to show you the damage that water does, because water can obviously do a lot of damage. But water actually isn't the problem. People think water and electricity don't mix. If you get pure water isn't conductive. They're just, pure water is not conductive. But when you get rainwater, or, you know, the car goes in a flood, or whatever the case may be, tap water, it's not pure water. There's a lot of minerals in that water, and it's the minerals that do the damage on the board. So you get water from a tap, you pour it on a board and you leave it for too long, then minerals go in and they start rusting the board. But you can actually clean a circuit board in water. You can, as long as you take the power out of it, so there's no power in it, you can put a board in a dishwasher. As long as you clean it properly afterwards, you won't have a problem. But it's cleaning it properly afterwards that's the issue. But what the biggest issue is with water damage, when people spill something on, is it's more the bollocks, I was meant to go that way. I go right round the roundabout. You can't see me, but I'm going round the roundabout. Shame it wasn't icy, I could do a bit of drifting, but I've got stuff in the back, I don't want to damage it. So basically, yeah, and then so when people get water damage or they spill something on it, the first thing to do is turn the fucking thing back on, which blows even more. So that's kind of, you know, but yeah, people don't realise pure water is not conductive. The reason why we use DNI's water in EVs, yes, that is definitely correct. Well, let's rephrase that, Mike. The reason why you should use DNI's water, but let's face it, when it gets a few years old and people just put water in it because the coolant's down, yeah. Which way am I going? Which way am I going? Yes, still going right. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, I think. In the UK, it's dry crack solder joints. Yeah, I've seen that a lot too. But I'm saying, like, in the, you know, in a lot of the Fords, with the ECU being in the wheel well, that's a lot of water damage. The Volkswagens being in under the scuttle panel, because I've got, like I said, 3 cars that I've got in. 3 cars, two of them are Focuses and one is Skoda, and all ECU's gone. All ECU's gone. No, sorry, one car has got a clock gone and two have got an ECU gone. These Leons. These are nice water. So they can be hard to spot. Yeah, they can be, but that's why I really want to get a good microscope, so I can actually, you know, see them a lot better. Question: is it worth doing an engine flush on an oil change, help reduce DPF clogging, or should I keep the car? Right, for a start, mate, I can't see your name because the fucking phone's moving. Is it Bill? Do not use engine flush. Do not do it, because one of the worst things you'll ever do, if your engine's really bad and it's on, is you use engine flush, which works. Yeah, it flushes it all down the fucking bottom, and then the pickup gets blocked and say goodbye to your engine. So what you need to do is just change the oil regularly, really regularly. If your engine's really dirty, change the oil every 3,000-4,000 miles, and then very slowly, what will happen is all the bits of crap will come out slowly and more controlled, and then after, you know, 5 or 6 oil changes, whatever it is, you will have your engine a million times better. You know, engine flush is so dangerous. Now, if you was to maybe have a brand spanking new car and you was to use engine flush every 2,000 miles and service it, you might get away with it, because the oil is never going to be dirty enough to cause you an issue. But otherwise, no. I mean, I wouldn't even use it in that situation either, to be honest. But no, do not use engine flush. Even radiator flush causes big problems. Radiator flush is more safe to use because, you know, you can kind of get away with it. But what tends to happen when you flush a radiator is all the shit goes to the heater matrix and blocks the heater matrix up. So, you know, but it's easier to flush out your radiator and your heater matrix separately than it is your engine. And if you do that and your heater matrix fucks up, you've only lost hot air. You haven't really destroyed your engine. So it's not the end of the world. But what will happen with radiator flush is, if your radiator is really bad, you will find that you use radiator flush and you'll cause a leak, because the crap that's in your radiator is blocked up a leak that you didn't know about. So you put rad flush in your car, it will clean it out, kind of, and then you'll get a fucking leak, and then you're in trouble, because then you got a leaky radiator. Little chunks of carbon get stuck, yeah. But it's not even so much the carbon that does get stuck, it's more the shit that gets put into the bottom of your pickup and then destroys your engine. Now, don't get me wrong, the actual carbon getting stuck in the passages is bad as well, but, well, it's all bad. It's all bad. Just don't fucking use it. I service my cars, every vehicle I own, every 5,000 miles, regardless. Whether the oil looks perfectly clean doesn't matter. Every 5,000 miles, just change everything, and I guarantee you'll have a lot less problems engine wise. It's just the best thing to do. RIP out of the pickup doors everywhere. I use the correct synthetic oil change. See, that's another thing. That is another thing. Using the correct oil. Don't get me wrong, if you're stuck in the middle of nowhere and you just got old engine oil and your engine's leaking, hey, put old engine oil into your car. Yeah, no problem. You know, 100%. if to get you somewhere. But engine oil is so important to get the right engine oil. And it's not even 530 or 030 or 020 or 1040. Forget about the actual thickness of the oil. That is a thing, don't get me wrong, but it's also the spec of oil. So what I'm trying to get at is, you could have 5W30 oil that's designed for a Ford engine, which isn't designed for a Mercedes engine. Now, yes, it will work, of course it will, but the Mercedes engine will mostly use slightly different cleaners for their specific engine. It has slightly different properties, and the proper Mercedes oil, for example, would be better in the Mercedes engine and the Ford, or vice versa. So the proper spec oil, the proper detergents in the oil is key. And I always say, and I don't really hear a lot of people talking about this on YouTube, but and I've even seen people put like thinners in engines and petrol because they say it'll clean it out. Yeah, it'll fucking clean it out, but say goodbye to your engine. You'll have a nice shiny parts of your engine, but it's not going to be together long. So I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, so the right spec oil is important, but also the mileage. So let's say, for example, we'll just use any car. It's got 100,000 miles on, right? But that car still sounds fine. There's no banging or ratting out the engine, but it's got 100,000 miles on. That engine is going to be worn. It just is. Compared to an engine with 0 miles on, that 100,000 mile engine is going to be worn. It just will be. Whether you change the oil every 5,000 miles or not, it makes no difference. It's going to be worn. So what you do in that case, and I've shown in my videos, is you put slightly thicker oil into your engine. Now you do have to be careful, because you do have to check out your engine first and make sure what it can and can't take. But you can put slightly thicker oil in, but you still need the same spec of oil. So let's say you went from 530 to 1040. Again, you can't just put any 1040. You can, but you know what I mean. You still get the right spec of oil for that car, because it'll still do all the cleaning it needs to do, but it's slightly thicker oil, which will help the wear that you've got on your engine. So, you know, that's something to also bear in mind. Yes, there's different additive, and you know a lot Mercedes. Yeah, kerosene is the way to flush basic engine flush. Half a litre, 1040, low pressure run out. Yeah, and there's also there's high mileage oil as well. You know, so there's like 1040 Ford spec, but there'll be 1040 high mileage Ford spec as well. So, you know, and that has slightly different things in as well. So you have to, you know, it's like anything. You have to just look after everything. But you can put slightly thicker oil in, or put high mileage oil in, and you know, but again, you have to be careful where you are, because if you're in a really cold country, the thicker oil you put in, the more it takes longer to heat up. So if you're in like -30 weather and you put thicker oil in your car, well, it's going to be really sludgy, and it's going to mostly do damage before the oil heats up. So you're going to be better off putting slightly thinner oil in, or keeping the same spec oil in, because of your, you know, because of the temperature. So it's not just, it also depends on where you are in the world, you know, your temperature, depending on where you are and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, unfortunately there's just so many things that come into play. It's like everything, you know, it's not just one thing, and the more you go down the rabbit hole, the more you the more shit you start worrying about, the more stuff you start doing. I saw a few engines trashed going near me. Brilliant, always brilliant. Add fuel all the way from 10% to 90%. Oh, I can't even see that. The bloody phone's rattling. So yeah, look, it just depends. It depends on how you drive the car. Depends on the journeys you do, because if you do short journeys, a modern diesel isn't any good for you. You know, petrol's a lot better in a lot of ways because it hasn't got as many things to go wrong if you're doing shorter journeys. So it's all, you know, it depends on how hot or cold your country is, and you know, everything. There's loads to consider. And then of course the problem is, especially with YouTube, social media is, and I'm to blame with this as well because I do YouTube videos, but you'll see people, and I get it, I'm getting it more and more now, and it is quite funny, where someone will come to me with a problem and they'll say, I've googled it and Google says this, so can you fix this on my car? And I'm like, doesn't mean that's what's wrong with your car. You can have exactly the same car, 10 of the same cars, 10 same engines, 10 same mileage, 10 same error codes, and 10 different problems, 10 separate, completely different problems. So people put in videos on YouTube and they say, oh, a P107, you know, catalytic converter problem, it's the O2 sensor. Well, on that particular car, maybe it was the O2 sensor, but on your car, might not be. Could be an intake leak, could be a cat problem, could be an I8 valve problem, there could be loads of problems, could be a stuck injector, could be, you know, like there's loads of issues, dodgy spark plug, so for the same code. And I even got a code recently, an O2 code. Actually, I won't spoil it because that video is coming up. A Kia O2 code, and it had nothing to do with the O2 sensor whatsoever. So yeah, that's the problem as well. So but that's just social media is bring that into light. So people say, well, yeah, I've googled it and this is what's wrong, and I'm like, no, that's not what's wrong. And also, which is quite funny, and I'm sure every other, well, I know every other mechanic gets this, but I want to know, anyone get this as well, and tell me what you've got in the comments, because this is hilarious. When someone will come in and they'll say, oh, my engine light's on, okay, you can plug it in and it'll tell you exactly what's wrong, won't it? No, it won't tell you exactly what's wrong. It gives you an idea, gives you a rough idea, and let's face it, it's a rough idea in a lot of cases. And I've even had people where they swear blind that if there's a broken wire, the scan tool will tell you exactly where it is. Now, don't get me wrong, if it says short to ground, hey, you know, that doesn't mean it's short to ground though. That could mean a dodgy sensor internally. But the car does kind of know if there's maybe a broken wire, because you'll get it on the data, you know, crankshaft sensor short to ground. But it doesn't tell you where that wire is broke, if it is broken. And people just seem to think, oh yeah, the scan tool says this is your problem, you've got a sensor problem, and underneath the driver's seat, 3 inches from the second nut on the rail next to the 10mm, there's a broken wire 3mm into a 5-piece wire, and it like, no, it just doesn't tell you that. Like, it doesn't. And that's what people think. And it's not the person's fault, because they don't know any better, but in people's heads they just think that a scan tool tells you everything. I would love a fucking scan tool to tell me everything, because if there was one about, I would buy it. Fuck having to do it properly. I'd be lazy and let the scan tool do all the work. Too fucking right I would. If there was a scan tool that was 100 grand, I'd sell my tools to buy it, and then I'd just keep plugging cars in and telling people exactly what's wrong. It'd be brilliant. I'd spend 100 grand on it, no problem. But unfortunately, there isn't. There's just this up here tells you all the problems, but the problem with my brain is I'm as thick as fuck. So I struggle, you know. I am, let's face it, as thick as fuck. There's no two ways about it. Need a scan tool to tell me everything. Oh, because the old great, we're back. No, not a V12. Let's say a W16, because that's even bigger, right? W16. Yeah, you and both belong to the Thick as Fuck Club. Thick as fuck, Leo. Yeah, I swear to God, I am. It is true the TV show Chips was real. Yeah, so my brain, well, imagine everyone's brain is a W16 twin turbo, right? That's what everyone's brain is, just because one of the biggest engines out there. That's really cool. And when it's working, fucking sweet as a nut. Well, mine has never been serviced. It's firing on like 1.5 cylinders and one of the turbos has fallen off. That's my W16. So long overdue a service. Every single fucking light on the dash you can imagine, and it's blinking at you. And even a scan tool's like, oh shit. So that's me. That's me. 1.5 cylinders on a W16, and I've lost a turbo years ago. In Ireland, we're getting 23% of the diesel price back as a business expense. Diesel will be around for a while. Yeah. Oh no, I think it will. I like that explanation. Yeah, I know. I just literally just off the top of the dome that was. And it's like a 2-stroke. No, because the 2-stroke has got a bit of power behind it. You know, especially on a scrambler and a crosser, that old power band opens up. 2-stroke's one of the most beautifully sounding engines there is. I love 2-stroke engine on a scrambler with a power band. But I'm not even a fucking 2-stroke. Do you know? I would be like, diesel will be around. Diesel will be gone faster than things by. Diesel will be gone faster than. I can't fucking see. Anyway, diesel will be gone soon. I think that's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, that's. I need to get a good scan tool. I need to get a good scan tool to sort my old brain out. Maybe if I put a oh yeah, also my battery's flat as well. You know, so I need a jump start. I might need a jump start first, get a good battery in there, and then try and fix all the problems. True, my KTM, yes, good old KTMs. Love a KTM. I had a YZ Yamaha 250 2-stroke racing quad. Oh God, I miss that thing. I miss that thing. I was 5 years old, 4 years old when I was on my first motorbike. My first off-road motorbike. I must see if my parents have still got the videos. I was 4 years old on an off-road motorbike, jumping about the height of a car. Not over a car, but about the height of a car. I grew up on motorbikes. Love motorbikes, scramblers, crossers. Yeah. I really miss my YZ Yamaha 250 full-on racing quad. It was an animal. I would love to get that back. There is no better sound than a 2-stroke when the power band opens up on a scrambler or a crosser. My dad had a 490 2-stroke. Now imagine that. A 490 2-stroke. It took 2 people to kick it. The compression was that hard in it. You couldn't, people were struggling to kickstart it. And a 490 was, it still is now, an absolute animal. There's not many things that would beat the power of a 490 2-stroke. I don't know if it was a Honda or a Yamaha, I can't remember. Might not have been any of them, but I remember it was a 490 2-stroke. It was an animal, an absolute animal. I have 2 of the FZ40s, fully race prepared. Never used to be raced. Oh, nice. Built them for, oh, might be nice. Had a RM125 and built 250, missed the, yeah. CR500 two-stroke, yeah, it was the daddy. This was the 490 though. I think it was the 40. It was the 490 or the, anyway, whatever it was the fucking dog's bollocks. Nothing at the time, and I'm going back now. So if I was 5, so I'm going back in 1989, 1990. There was just nothing around like this, and the power of this thing, you could fit like, you know, fucking 2 fucking fat bastards on the front wheel and it would still flip them. It would just, it's an animal, absolute animal. It was hard to keep the front wheel down. I remember people struggling to just to even ride the thing because you couldn't put the power on. You had to be so careful putting that power on, because it would just lift the front wheel just for shits and giggles. I obviously never ridden that because I was too young, but mine was a, I had a 50cc when I was 4, and it was fucking awesome. Oh, we've got a bit of ice here now. There's a car coming. Can I read this? I think Toyotas used to do a 2-stroke supercharged 3-litre diesel. Oh, nice. Honda Pilot I had years ago was basically a modified CR500 with a different lower half, so basically the same engine. Oh, nice. Michael, how we doing? Used to get chased by little KTM was faster. Well, all I remember is back when this thing was around, there was nothing that could come close to this thing. It was just an animal, an absolute fucking animal. Well, actually, I say nothing could come close to it. Actually, everything could beat the 500, and I tell you why. Because if you got on it thinking you knew what you was doing, you could get that 500 against my little 50cc. I must actually get the pictures, because there's pictures of me and my sisters on all these bikes, and there's videos. So you line up the 500 against the 50, and some dickhead who thinks he knows what he's doing, first thing that's going to happen, he's going to pull a wheelie and it's going to just absolutely throw him off. He's going to be, the bike's going to land on top of him, he's going to be rolling around in a lot of pain, and my little 50cc will just plod along and win because he'll just fall off. So yeah, the 500, nothing, everything could beat it because you couldn't stay on the fucking thing. I think my dad had a massive accident on it as well, if I remember. I don't remember it, I just remember them talking about it. I think he was going up a huge bankment, and of course front wheel lifted, and I think that I'm remembering this, and I could be completely wrong. I must ask him, because I could be completely wrong about this, but this is how I remember it. You got to remember I was only like 4 or 5, so I could be remembering this completely fucking wrong. Anyway, so it lifts up, his hand's caught between the throttle, so he can't get his hand off the throttle, so the bike's revving its tits off, and he's falling down the hill with the back wheel hitting his leg, bouncing off his leg. That's what I remember in my head, but I could be completely and utterly wrong, but that's what I'm remembering. I must actually ask him, because I remember everyone talking about he had a bad spill on it. But now you wouldn't be allowed to put your kids on motorbikes with all the fucking shit that's going on. You would get put in prison for it. My sister's kids in the UK, get this is fucking ridiculous. My sister's kids, they are under 10, well 2 of them are under 10, right? And from this year I don't know when it started. It started maybe a few months ago, but yeah, so it started last year. I don't know exactly when last year, but it started last year, that these kids under 10, I think, or it could even be under 12, when they're playing football in school in the UK, they are not allowed to header the ball. You are not allowed to header the ball now. How fucking pathetic is that? Like, seriously. That is just pathetic in my opinion. Let them fucking header it. I could understand if it's a fully grown man crossing to a 5-year-old, okay, fair enough, the ball's going to be coming, you know, too fast, that can hurt them, okay. But when a 5-year-old crosses to a 5-year-old, hey, it's not going to be fucking powerful, is it? Jesus Christ, the world we live in. Is it just me, or does anyone else think that's fucking stupid? Or is it just me? The future is good. That's clearly going to be a role in football in January. Wait and see. It's fucking stupid. That's under 12s, yeah, it's fucking stupid. They zoom around at 50 mile an hour. Hold on. I zoom around at 50 mile an hour. Scooters. Yeah. The world is getting worse. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Like, you know, seriously, what difference does it make if they header the ball? Kids have been doing it for years. Kids are mollycoddled. The whole world is so upset. And the thing is, like, I'm not saying that, you know, people don't get injured playing it, but you can't blame the football for that. If there's an issue, oh no, I can't see me properly. If, you know, if a kid headers the ball and has a problem, you know, and dies or something bad, yeah, that's obviously really bad. But I guarantee you, it wasn't because he headed the ball. It's because he had other problems. He might have had a, you know, a serious problem with his brain, and the heading the ball set something off. But also then falling over would have done the same thing. So you can't blame football for that. You can't, you know, he obviously, or he or she or whatever, might have a problem, but that's not football's problem. They had a problem. You know, it's like when COVID first came out, you know, and there was a lot of people dying, older people, but they weren't particularly dying of COVID as such. Now, I know this is a big thing and people say whatever, but I'm just saying they had other underlying health conditions. And I think if a kid dies because he headers the ball, he's got underlying health conditions. It's not the ball. It wasn't the football doing it. You know, he could have fallen out the bed and had the same issue. He could have fallen down the stairs and had the same issues. But yeah, it's just fucking stupid. Absolutely stupid. It's just, yeah, I don't know. You know, and yeah, you know, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying health and safety is a bad thing, because there's a lot of things, you know, health and safety is good for. I get it. You know, when you're like, we always used to wear helmets on our motorbikes. We wore all the gloves, we wore all the leathers, we wore all the boots. Like, we wasn't going out without wearing helmets, you know, because that's just asking for trouble. But, you know, heading a football isn't a problem. It just isn't a fucking problem. That's what I need, a bike. That's what I need, a bike with I'll never get rid of it. Old 80s box opal, 16 panel balls, and like heading a brick wall all day. Yeah, don't get me wrong, sensible stuff, like, you know, if you're on a motorbike or whatever, on a push bike, wearing a helmet, okay, fine. Like, I'm not against that. You know, wearing high-vis vests and all that, again, I'm not against that. But heading a fucking football, like, what's wrong with that? Seriously, there is nothing wrong with that. It's just, and you watch the funny videos on YouTube, you know, of kids and adults, you know, falling from trees and, you know, really hitting their head, falling on ice, and nothing's happening to them. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. What I'm saying is the human body is quite resilient, you know, in a lot of things. And I'm not saying a kid crossing a ball another kid hits it and he might lose his balance and fall over. But again, that's not a big deal, is it? You know, look what kids do when they play. Look on bouncy castles and trampolines and all that. You know, it's just, it pisses me off because it's just getting so stupid. Now, what you can and can't say and what you can and can't do, it's just ridiculous. Do you know? Like, you can't say in England now, and I think it's the same in Ireland, but in England you can't say bar bar black sheep anymore. The nursery rhyme bar bar black sheep you're not allowed to say. You have to say bar bar rainbow sheep. Like, seriously, you can't say whiteboard anymore. No, sorry, you can't say blackboard, but you can say whiteboard. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. It really is just ridiculous. And kids now, and again, I know this is in Ireland, I'm not sure about the UK or anywhere else. They'll be, well, they're on about banning boxing, aren't they? They're on about trying to do that. You're old school, Leon. Well, yeah, because there's nothing wrong with it. You know, just, yeah. Look, I just don't see the problem with saying certain words. You know, any word said wrong can, you know, is wrong, if that makes sense. It all depends on how you say whatever word you say. The context is key. You know, you can make any word horrible or racist, any word, but if it's said in the right way and it's not meant maliciously, then look, it's not a problem. Like a blackboard. How is blackboard? They've stopped saying blackboard in the UK now because apparently it's racist. How is blackboard racist? I don't understand that. Like, how is that racist? That to me doesn't make any sense. I don't know. Bar bar black sheep, that's not racist. How is that racist? I don't know. I just don't know, and I don't get it. The whiteboard got upset. But I know in Ireland now that you can't fail an exam. What they're doing now is, and this again, I think this is wrong. You can't fail an exam. You get a score where you get above average or below expectations. Below expectation is essentially a fail, but they don't say fail, they just say below expectations. So they're not upsetting the children by saying you failed. Go fuck yourself. If you failed, you fucking failed. Study harder, do whatever you need to do and get a pass. But this thing that you never fail, when these kids go to the real world, oh my fucking god, they are in for it, because they're not going to be able to live in the real world, especially in certain circumstances like garages. The stuff people say in garages to each other, the stuff they do to each other in garages, you know, you're not gonna they're not gonna survive. They're just not gonna survive. Everyone has a black man's pinch. Yeah, black man's pinch. That's a bit of Cockney rhyming slang there. For anyone that doesn't know what that is, that's essentially a blood blister. So what a blood blister, and again, I don't know what you'd call them where you are, but a black man's pinch, you can't say anymore. But it's essentially a blood blister. So if you ever hit your hand hard, but you haven't actually, you know, it's not bleeding, but you see a bump before, you see a little blump, you see a little bump, and the blood is in behind your skin, but it hasn't actually burst your skin, but it's bleeding in between your skin. That's what that is. So yeah, but there's a lot of things now that you just cannot say. Blood blister, yeah, but in Cockney rhyming slang, it's known as a black man's pinch. So you'd say you got a black man's pinch today. Or go up the fucking apples and pears for a tom tit. Does anyone know what that means? Got the apples and pears for a gypsy's kiss. Or a tomtit. Either way, ouch. Yeah, they can hurt, can't they? They can hurt. And they're even weird when, if you leave them to like dry up, and then that bit of skin, because it's obviously it bubbles, and you peel it off and it feels weird because the skin behind you. I just burst them straight away because it's just easier. But yeah, up the apples and pears. Go down to the nuclear sub. Need some bees and honey for the nuclear sub. Does anyone know what that means? And Jason, you're not allowed to answer because I take it you know what that means. If you know what a black man's pinch means. So does anyone else? Of my American viewers, do you know what apples and pears? It's Cockney rhyming slang. So in other words, the words rhyme, not all the time, like black man's pinch doesn't rhyme with blood blister, but apples and pears rhymes with something. Like dog and bone or boat race. I'd often say, I got it all over my boat. Boat race, I'll give you a clue. Boat race is a face. So you say boat race equals face. Dog and bone, phone. But then you can even shorten it down more. So where's the dog? In other words, where's the dog? Or I need some bees and honey, which is money. But then you can even go and say I need some bees. So it's even lower. Leon, say gee bag. That is one of the best Irish words going. You're a fucking gee bag. Oh, I love that word. I absolutely love that word. Whistle and flute. My new suit. Gee bag. You won't know the word gee bag unless you're in Ireland. Gee bag is very specific to Ireland. It's brilliant. One of the best words you'll ever know. Any of my American viewers, you need to go to the next person and say you're a gee bag, and they'll look at you and they'll be, what the fuck is he saying? But make out it's a good thing, right? So make out to your work colleague, you say, oh, I learned a new word the other day. It's an Irish word and it's really good, and I'm going to call you a gee bag. It just means, you know, that you're really good. So he'll go to all his mates, oh, I was called a gee bag. And if he ever comes to Ireland, oh yes, funny. Does gee bag mean what I think it means? Well, what do you think it means? It depends. What do you think it means? I cheated, I looked it up. Yeah, and that's another thing. It does vary. Gary's correct. It's like when English people and Irish people use the word cunt, right? In America, that is a very bad word. You call someone a cunt, it's really bad. But in England and Ireland, not necessarily. I could go up to a friend of mine and say, oh, how you doing, you cunt? And that's a good thing. That's a way I can say hello to my friend. All right, cunt. And it's an absolute perfectly good way of saying it. Or it can mean, oh, look at that fucking cunt. That's the worst side of it. Gee bag's the same. Gee bag has different meanings depending on how you use it in a sentence. So it gets quite difficult, you know, because it can mean different things. But the word cunt is one of the best words in the English dictionary because it is multifaceted word. It can mean so many different things, and it's brilliant. And if you've ever been in England or Ireland for a long time, the word cunt is like, I think it has to be one of the most popular words in England or Ireland, because I can use it 5 times in one sentence. And the funny thing is, in that one sentence, that word will mean 5 different things, even though I've used it in the same sentence. So it's a brilliant word, just like gee bag. Cunt and gee bag is a brilliant word. Us Scousers have black slang, even. Yeah, I mean, I know some of the Scousers slang. Oh, what's the word for wheelie bin? Oh, I'm trying to think of it. You've got a slang for wheelie bin, I'm sure of it. Oh, I kind of think of it now. It'll come to me. I'm sure it's wheelie bin. Or is it? No. Is it that the different colour wheelie bins mean different things? Like if you've got a blue wheelie bin or something, you're from the wrong side, or it's something. Oh, am I right in saying that? It's something to do with the colour of the wheelie bins. But you've also got a really funny slang word for socks, I believe. Now again, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. Yes, that's how I got. Yes. Oh, I do it. Yes, we have purple, but yeah, I knew it. There is a big thing for those people who don't know. There is a big thing that, depending on the colour of your wheelie bins, is depending which area you're from. And if you've got the wrong colour wheelie bins, you can be in trouble. And we're just talking about wheelie bins now. That's all we're talking about is wheelie bins. When I was 10, knocking on the door, if it felt too hard, but I should see him finding someone in the dumpster behind the grocery store. The kids are 70s. Yeah, wheelie bins, isn't it amazing? But a bit of Cockney rhyming slang for you, right? Anyone who obviously knows this, don't mention it in the comments, because I want to see if anyone will recognise this. So if I say I got a new kettle today, what do you think that means? Put it in the comments. So you say, I got a new kettle today. Show us your new kettle. That's a nice kettle. What do you think it means? And I even know where it even came from. So I even know why it's called a kettle. A lot of people might know what kettle means, but they don't know where it originated from. So what do you think a kettle means? My best friend Red had an Irish red setter. His name was Red also. He looked like he was always aiming, so we called him Amen. Don't know that one. Witch's brew. No, it's nothing to do with witches. When I tell you, it makes perfect sense, but it doesn't make perfect sense for what it is. But when I tell you the reason behind it, it's like, wow, it's actually really good. But a lot of people don't know it. Any guesses? Fettle, hat? Nope. It's not a hat. Not a fettle. I'd be surprised if someone... No one's going to get it who doesn't know it, if that makes sense. Like, you will not guess it. You won't guess it. If you know it, you know it, but I guarantee you won't guess it. And if you guess it, I know you're lying, because you'll never guess it. You'll never ever guess it. I even know some people from London who don't even know it, because they've never heard of it. I'll wait for a few more guesses and I'll tell you what it is, then I have to go. Just the chat. So just a couple more guesses. Did you Google it? There's no way you guessed that, David. If you said you didn't know, there is no way you guessed it. Did you Google it? Be honest. Well, at least you're honest. Yeah, I do that with all the people around here. We're all Irish or Mexican. I guess it could be pulled. It's one of the Mexicans used to be an old Irish. Right, it is a watch, right? So if you say to someone, oh, I got a new kettle today, in other words, you got a new watch, right? And where it actually derives from, which I think is fucking genius. If you remember years and years ago, in Ireland only a couple of years ago, that's an Irish joke. But in the UK years and years ago, we're talking like years before electricity, right? Or maybe not even so much before electricity, but a long time ago, electricity would have been around, but it was, you know, it goes back to an open fire, right? And you used to have these big open fires, and you used to have this big, you always used, well, not always, but you mainly used to be black, an arm you could swing into the middle of the fire. Now you could put anything in that, you know, people cook food because, you know, there was no cookers or anything back then, or if you was poor, you know, and it was just coming in, it was a cheap way of cooking anything basically. But you used to swing the kettle inside the fire on this arm, but you would have to watch the kettle, because you'd have to watch it boil, because if you just walked away and forgot about it, all the water would boil out, and you know, you wouldn't have any hot water. So you had to watch the kettle. So watch the kettle. It's genius, absolute genius. That's where it comes from. So that's why kettle means watch. So yeah, see, not only do you learn how to fix cars here, you learn a bit of Cockney rhyming slang. Yeah, it's one of them things that even if you're not really, you know, even if you don't know a lot of Cockney rhyming slang, you know, voice crack. Even if you don't know a lot of Cockney rhyming slang, it's just interesting to know where these stories come from. It's like another great one, and this is not Cockney rhyming slang. Well, actually, I suppose it's not Cockney rhyming slang, but it's a bit of slang. Put your back into it. The expression, go on, put your back into it. So if you've never heard that expression, it's like, come on, you know, just fucking try, you know, give it a bit more, put your back into it. That came from long archers. So again, years and years ago, if you was an archer, but a long archer, so you had the big, huge, long crossbow, they were fucking massive. They were like you know, some of them were like 6 foot tall. They were big. You will watch kettle never boils. Oh, I love it. To draw that bow back, you couldn't just use your arms. No, what, you just wasn't strong enough. So to draw that bow back, you had to put your back into it. And that's to give it a bit more power, and that's where the word put your back, or that's where the expression put your back into it comes from. You know, when you look at all these expressions, it all goes back to normally, you know, a long time ago. A lot of it normally is like a fighting reference, so like longbow, put your back into it, you know, from wars and all that sort of stuff. You know, it's interesting to know where a lot of the things come from. I know a few just stupid facts that you never need to fucking know, but yeah, so put your back into it came from a longbow. So there you go. But anyway, right, so yes, I will be starting some new channels very, very soon. I will let you know as soon as I do. I'm still setting up stuff right now. It's going to be, I don't know, maybe a month or so. I mean, this is a genius compliment. You're smarter than you make out. I'm fucking not. Just because I know stupid facts doesn't mean I'm smart. Do you know? These are stupid, useless facts that you don't need to know, and it's not going to do you any good. So, unless you're on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and that's your million question, and you heard it from here, just send me, I don't know, 100 grand. That'll be fine. I think it's more firing on 1.5 cylinders. Okay, we'll say 1.5 cylinders, but still the turbo's falling off and the other one's dangling, the other one's leaking. But yeah, so I'll let you know as soon as I get the new can I be phone a friend? Yeah. But I will never be on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire because I'm not fucking clever enough. 100k. I think if you win 1 million for that question, I think 100k is fair enough. I think, well, actually, if you think about it, what would you lose if you're on $1 million question and you don't get it right? What do you go down to? What is it? 100 grand? Is it? Do you lose 900 grand? Is that what you lose? Before I go, someone quickly tell me. Oh, you go to 500k. Okay, so you lose $500,000. So if you think about it, I've just give you or gained you $500,000. So 100 grand, you're still up 400 grand. So I think 100 grand's quite quite nice. Good luck with the new channel, bedtime. Yeah, thanks a lot, mate. So I'll let you know as soon as I get it ready. Like I said, it's gonna be maybe a month or so before I get everything ready, because I still need to get 32k. Or is that, there must be in America, you go down to 32k? That's, I thought you went down to 32k if you was at the 64k question. No, I don't know. Night, Leon, all the best. Thanks for, yeah, it's it. So anyway, I'm gonna go now. Oh yeah, it's 32. Wow, is it 32k you go down to? Holy shit, I thought there was a 64k question though that you get stuck at. Okay, well, if it's 32k is a bit technical. Well, if it's 32k, then I want fucking 250 grand. I think, yeah, 250 grand. That's what I want. my price has just gone up to 250 grand. Okay, and yeah, 250 grand. And if anyone wants me to promote anything and lie, £1 million, I'll say anything. Just saying. So you want me to lie, £1 million, I'll lie to you. You know, I think that's my benchmark. Anything under that, well, 500,000, I'll think about it, but £1 million, I'll definitely do it. Anyway, as always, hope it helps. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'll let you know when the new channels come in, and hopefully it's going to be good, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But as always, hope it helps. See you later. Goodbye.